After a drunken night, I slept with Lila, my college crush. To take responsibility, I married her in a flash. That night, as I drifted off, she kissed me with a smile. "You're finally mine." Wait, what? Was I set up? My head was pounding. I rolled over, eyes still heavy, and cracked them open. And there she was, staring straight at me. Our eyes locked. I jolted awake. "You're up." Lila was sitting at the edge of the bed in just a t-shirt, giving me this wide-eyed, almost innocent look. My brain went full DEFCON 1. Like a warzone had just detonated in my skull. I threw off the blanket. I was naked. Completely. I glanced at Lila again, there were faint red marks trailing down her neck. My memory was a blur, fragments piecing together like a bad jigsaw. There was a college reunion. We both drank way too much. Lila said her place was nearby, asked me to walk her home. And then... did I walk her into bed? I rubbed my temples. Shit. I don't remember anything. As soon as the words left my mouth, I realized how that must have sounded. I quickly waved my hands, flustered. I mean, not that I didn't want to. I just... She cut me off with a soft voice. "It's okay. I was drunk too. It was mutual." Her eyes dropped as she bit her lip. But, it was my first time. That last line hung in the air like a loaded gun. Wait, hold on. Lila? 25. Gorgeous. Killer body. The kind of girl who turns heads in every room. And this was her first time? I mean, unless she'd been saving herself for someone she actually liked, that sounded a little far-fetched. But what was she trying to say, exactly? Was she asking for money? No, come on. That'd be way out of line. Pulling out cash now would make it look like I thought I'd paid for last night. And that would cross a line I wasn't ready to even approach. As I wrestled with what to say, Lila quietly reached over and placed her hand on mine. Her eyes, gentle, deep, unsettlingly sincere, held my gaze with a warmth that made my chest tighten. "Let's get married," she said softly. "I'll try my best to be a good wife." The next day, we were standing in a chapel, rings exchanged, vows whispered. And somehow, I had just married Lila, the campus beauty I used to watch from a distance in college. It felt surreal. Like I'd stumbled into someone else's life. I took a few days off work, I told her as we walked out of the church. "I know this whole thing happened kind of fast, but since we're, well, legally married now, maybe we could get away for a bit. Just relax somewhere." "You mean, a honeymoon?" she asked, gently biting her lip. "Unless you're not into that, we could just..." "I like it." She cut me off, nodding quickly. "Husband, when do we leave?" That word, husband, hit me like a freight train. She clung to my arm, her chest pressing softly against it, warm and featherlight like a cloud. I wasn't used to being called that. I wasn't used to any of this, really. The sudden affection, the intimacy, it all felt like I'd stepped onto a moving train without checking where it was headed. I cleared my throat, trying to hide my discomfort. Yeah." Lila's expression faltered. Her gaze dropped, and she released my arm. "Sorry," she said in a quiet voice. "Was it weird calling you that?" "I forgot, you only married me because you felt obligated." No, that's not it at all," I said quickly, scratching the back of my head. "If it makes you happy, then I'm fine with it." Lila looked up, a playful smile tugging at her lips. "Then say something back to me," she teased. "Fair's fair, right?" "Huh?" I blinked, thrown off. Did she mean what I thought she meant? Or was I just reading too much into it? God, if I misunderstood, this would get awkward fast. She held my gaze for a moment, completely still. Then her smile faded, her voice small and apologetic. Sorry. I got ahead of myself. I forgot, you're only in this because you felt responsible. I shouldn't expect too much from a marriage without love. Don't. I raised a hand, cutting her off. Don't say that. So it was just me overthinking things. Lila stopped mid-sentence. Her expression softened again. I hesitated for a moment, then reached out and pulled her into a hug. My wife, I said, quiet but firm. That was how our honeymoon began. From day one, Lila was unstoppable, dragging me around the city with the energy of someone on a mission to conquer every corner of the map. I couldn't help but wonder, since when did women have superhuman stamina? By the time we made it back to the hotel that night, I collapsed onto the bed like a fallen soldier. Lila, meanwhile, was still buzzing with energy, unpacking a pile of accessories she'd picked up throughout the day. You're not tired? I asked, laughing through my exhaustion. Not really. I could keep going, she chirped, flipping open the suitcase and pulling out a change of clothes. Then she paused, glanced back at me with a mischievous glint. When you ask if I'm tired, are you trying to start something? The soda I just sipped went straight down the wrong pipe. I swallowed hard, sputtering into a coughing fit, eyes watering as I choked back the carbonation. Lila came over and patted my back, laughing softly. I meant go for a walk. What were you thinking? A walk. Right. A walk, I stammered. If you want to, I'll go with you. Actually, never mind. She leaned in just slightly, tugging down the collar of her top to reveal a peak of delicate lace. Suddenly I feel a little tired. I think I'll shower and turn in early. The sound of rushing water filled the hotel room. I sat on the edge of the bed like I was balancing on a tightrope, back straight, heart in my throat. Technically speaking, we were married now. Whatever happened between us, legally, it was fine. But emotionally? I couldn't shake this awkward, creeping sense of guilt. Maybe it was because Lila had once been the untouchable goddess of our college halls, and now she was in the same room, with me? Or maybe it was her unexpected boldness that left me completely off balance. The shower stopped. Lila emerged a moment later, her skin flushed from the heat, wearing nothing but a thin, sheer slip that left almost nothing to the imagination. I'll go take a shower, I mumbled, springing to my feet. Wait. She caught my wrist, voice sweet and casual. I can never get the clasp on this thing, can you help me with it? She reached for the back of her nightgown, fingers lifting the fabric. What? I froze. Then she paused, letting the fabric fall again. Sorry. That was out of line, she said softly. I know we're not really in love. You don't have to help if you don't want to. I won't hold it against you. Was this always how she was? This mixture of confidence and self-sabotage, like she kept walking a tightrope between teasing and retreating? Without a word, I stepped behind her and, eyes closed, fastened the clasp with fumbling fingers. Just as I was about to head into the bathroom, my phone started ringing. Lila, who was closer to the nightstand, picked it up and handed it to me. I glanced at the screen. Vanessa. My ex. Dating Vanessa? One of the worst mistakes I've ever made. And that's putting it lightly. She was the kind of woman no one should ever date, not unless you enjoyed chaos as a lifestyle. While we were together, she once held hands with two different strangers, one on each side of her, and still had the nerve to tell me nothing was going on. On our anniversary, she ditched me to celebrate her first love's birthday. When I was bedridden with a fever, she was flirting across the bar with her ex, locking eyes like they were in some slow-motion soap opera. And now? Now that we've broken up and gone radio silent for a few days, here she comes, calling again like nothing ever happened. She really must be out of her mind. Without a second thought, I hit decline. Not picking up? Lila asked gently. Nope, I said. No need to. After my shower, I came out trying to figure out how I was supposed to face Lila again, but I found her already asleep, curled up under the sheets. I exhaled in relief and walked over to pull the blanket higher over her shoulders. We'd done a lot today. I was wiped. Within minutes, I was out cold. Somewhere between dreams and wakefulness, I heard someone whispering my name. Fingers brushed over my face, starting at my eyes, drifting down my nose, finally resting on my lips. Lila. She leaned down, her breath warm, her voice soft as silk. Ethan, you're finally mine. Executive suite, late night. In the sleek, dimly lit office at the top floor of her company, Vanessa hurled her phone to the ground in a burst of frustration. Her friend strolled in, eyebrows raised. She bent down, scooped up the cracked device, and casually dropped it into the trash bin. What's with the tantrum? She asked. Dragging me here in the middle of the night just to watch you break your phone? Vanessa stood stiffly by the floor-to-ceiling window, arms crossed, stewing in silence. Ethan didn't pick up, she muttered. That's it? Her friend scoffed. You pulled me out of bed because Ethan didn't answer your call? What's wrong with that? What's wrong, Vanessa, come on. You're seriously losing it. It's past midnight. You've got me in your office just so you can scream at a phone? Vanessa didn't argue. She slumped back into her leather chair, her expression darkening with something colder than rage, disbelief. After a long pause, she said, almost to herself, Ethan's never hung up on me. Not once. Her friend rolled her eyes. You're probably overthinking it. Maybe he's just busy. Vanessa scoffed, her voice tightening. It's 11:30 at night. Who's busy at 11:30? What, is he busy screwing someone? Her own words seemed to sting. Her face turned sharp, brittle with envy. Relax, her friend said. He's always been loyal, hasn't he? That guy worships you. Give it a minute, he'll call back. And if he doesn't? Vanessa shot back, tone icy. Then you reach out to him again. Simple. Why the hell should I? Vanessa snapped. Like it's my fault? He's the one who ignored me. Why should I be the one to bend first? What, am I supposed to chase him now? Like I'm desperate? Then don't, her friend said, shrugging. Cut him off. Be done with it. Vanessa didn't reply. But her silence wasn't peace, it was the kind that simmers, seethes, and plots. Vanessa went quiet for a moment, then asked, almost cautiously. But what if he really never picks up again? Her friend gave her a long look. Vanessa, what I'm about to say might sound harsh, but I'm only saying it because I actually give a damn about you. Spare me the disclaimer, Vanessa snapped. Just say it. You're being ridiculous. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. What the hell did you just say? I said you're being pathetic. Her friend crossed her arms. You want Ethan to call you back, but you're too proud to call him first? Who the hell dates like that? Vanessa, listen to me. Love doesn't work the way you run your company. This cold, high and mighty CEO act? It's not gonna get you the relationship you want. If you care about him, say so. Be honest. Grow up. Vanessa scoffed. I didn't do anything wrong. He's the one ignoring me. He should apologize, not me. Her friend threw her hands in the air. Unbelievable. We lived wild for a few days, but eventually, the honeymoon had to end. The moment I stepped back into the office, my phone buzzed. Same familiar name on the screen. Vanessa. This time, I didn't hesitate. I blocked her number. By the end of the day, I was exhausted. Heading downstairs to go home, I stopped short. Lila was waiting at the entrance. A few co-workers elbowed me with grins. "Man, you two are inseparable." I gave them an awkward smile, waved goodbye, and walked over to her. She greeted me with a calm smile, gently taking my briefcase from my hand. "You must be tired. Let's go home. Dinner's waiting." I hesitated. Home as in your place or my place?" Lila giggled behind her hand. "Our home, of course." "Our home?" Before I could make sense of that, someone appeared in the distance, heading straight toward us. The figure approaching us was all too familiar. Same face. Same walk. Same attitude I'd grown tired of. "Why aren't you answering my calls?" Vanessa's brows were furrowed, voice clipped with irritation. "We broke up," I said flatly. "No reason for me to pick up anymore." Then I let out a bitter laugh. "What, those two guys couldn't keep you satisfied?" Vanessa's expression turned cold. "I told you, they're just friends. Stop being so dramatic, will you? Come on, let's go." She reached out and grabbed my arm, trying to pull me away like nothing had changed. Before I could react, Lila stepped between us. "Excuse me, but dragging someone around in public like this, don't you think that's a little inappropriate?" she said, calm but firm. Vanessa snapped her head toward her. "I'm Ethan's girlfriend. Who the hell are you to butt in?" Lila's eyes narrowed slightly. Then, in an instant, her whole demeanor shifted, fragile, soft, almost wounded, as she leaned against my chest. "You're absolutely right," she said, voice trembling just enough to sting. "You're Ethan's ex. Even after cheating on him, you still have the nerve to show up and beg him to come back." She looked up at me, then back at Vanessa. "But me? I'm just his wife, after all." "What did you just say?" Vanessa's voice cracked as rage twisted her features. For a moment, it looked like she might actually launch a stiletto straight at Lila's head. And honestly, that wouldn't have been entirely out of character. Vanessa wasn't used to losing. She always got what she wanted, effortlessly, unapologetically. This, being told no, being dismissed, wasn't in her vocabulary. And she was losing her grip. Still fuming, Vanessa took a breath, then smirked coldly. "You say you're his wife?" she sneered. "Do you even know that Ethan chased me for 3 years before I agreed to date him? He used to hang on my every word, do whatever I asked. Everyone knew how into me he was." She turned to me now, voice dripping with disdain. "This is just pathetic. So what, I let Terry stay with me for a couple days and you throw a tantrum this big? You're seriously going to fake a marriage just to make me jealous? How childish can you be?" I stared at her, stunned. Was she serious? Terry just stayed over for a few days? What an absolute joke. "Lady, you two were naked. In the shower. Together. What, were you pretending it was a platonic spa day? In my house, no less. In my damn bathtub. Don't give me that 'nothing happened' crap, not when you were pressed up against each other in a space barely big enough for one person. Not when skin was touching skin, moving slow, and lingering. And if I hadn't come back early from that business trip? Would you still be claiming nothing happened?" I stepped forward, eyes locked on hers. "Just because I liked you doesn't mean I was beneath you," I said, voice low and steady. "You've always acted like you were on some pedestal, like I should grovel for your attention. But who exactly do you think you are?" I took a breath. "You think I have to lie to make you jealous? Think I want to win you back?" My voice hardened. "Vanessa, don't forget, we already broke up. I'm not chasing you. You're the one chasing me." Her expression twisted, and she jabbed a finger toward my face. "Even if you're angry, there's a limit to how far you should take it. I gave her a long, tired look. Arguing with someone like this? It was like playing a symphony for a brick wall. I exhaled. I'm done. Reflect on yourself for once. And with that, she spun around, heels clacking against the pavement as she stormed off, leaving her pride trailing behind her. I felt like I'd just swallowed something rotten. Bitter. Heavy. Disgusting. That whole scene with Vanessa left a bad taste in my mouth I couldn't shake. When it was finally over, Lila gently took my hand and led me away, saying nothing. We pulled up to a house, no, a mansion, with ornate design, polished marble steps, and tall windows glowing under the dusk sky. "Do you like it?" she asked, watching me carefully. I blinked. My jaw may have dropped. This was Eastvale City's luxury district. The kind of place reserved for old money and newer billionaires. "This is our house?" I asked, voice almost cracking. "Emicham," Lila nodded with a smile. "A wedding gift. For you." I turned to her slowly. "Wait. Hold on. Let me process this. Weren't we accidentally married? Drunken night, shotgun vows?" This place didn't exactly scream spur of the moment. This house had planning behind it. Real, serious planning. The gesture was so grand, so utterly intentional, I had no idea how to respond. So I tried to defuse it with a half-joke. "With a gift like this, I'm starting to wonder if you were secretly in love with me all along." Lila just smiled, saying nothing. That night, we lay in bed, her bed, our bed, I guess. The only light came from a small lamp on the nightstand, casting a soft amber glow across the room. Lila curled up beside me, head nestled against my chest. I stiffened for a second, unsure what to do with my arms. Then I relaxed, just enough. Her voice, low and hesitant, broke the silence. "Did I mess up your life by showing up in it?" "Of course not," I said. A pause. "Do you still have feelings for Vanessa?" "Not even a little," I said, firmly. She let out a tiny breath of relief, then burrowed closer, looping her arms tighter around me. "I'm glad," she whispered. "Take care of me, okay? Weekend. No work." It was early, and we'd just finished breakfast when there was a knock at the door. I opened it, and froze. Standing there was a tall young man with tousled blonde hair, flanked by a middle-aged couple in their 50s. "Dad? Mom?" Lila's eyes widened in surprise. "Dad? Mom?" I stared at them, stunned. Both of them beamed at me and said a cheerful, overlapping, "Hi," before practically dragging me over to the couch. "Ethan, right? How's everything going? Settling in okay? Getting along with Lila all right?" Before I could answer, they turned toward the guy still standing by the doorway, holding an armful of gift bags and fruit baskets. "Ryan, go wash some fruit for Ethan to try." Ryan grumbled as he ripped open a fruit box. "Unreal. You just love bossing me around." Lila giggled, gave him a playful scold, and took the fruit tray from his hands. "I'll do it. Go sit down." He shrugged, immediately dropped everything, and plopped down next to me on the couch. Then he just stared at me. Like, really stared at me. I forced a polite smile. He leaned in slightly and said, "So. Lila actually locked you down, huh?" "What? Me? Locked down by her?" "Not exactly. I mean, it's kind of a long story," I said awkwardly. Ryan grabbed an apple off the table, wiped it on his shirt, and took a loud bite. "Yeah, sounds like a long con to me." Lila coughed pointedly and walked over with the fruit plate. "You sure don't talk this much at home." I didn't give much thought to what Ryan had said. But maybe I should have. Lila's parents had been chatting with me for a while when, suddenly, her mom, Susie, leaned over and patted my shoulder with the kind of conspiratorial grin that spelled trouble. "So," she said casually, "you two planning to have kids? How many? Got a timeline in mind?" That one hit me like a brick to the face. Kids. We'd barely wrapped our heads around the fact that we were married. Planning a whole family? That hadn't even crossed my mind. And honestly, if we're being technical, I barely even knew Lila yet. I turned to her with a grin that I hoped read as affectionate rather than panicked. "Babe, how many are we thinking again?" Lila's smile lit up the room. She clearly liked the sound of babe. She leaned in, eyes sparkling. "What do you think?" Thankfully, her parents didn't press. They picked up on the awkward pause and gracefully shifted the conversation elsewhere. After a little more chit-chat, I invited them to stay for lunch, but they politely declined. Something about not wanting to interrupt our newlywed bubble. They even dragged Ryan out the door with them, despite his dramatic protests. Over lunch, Lila looked up at me and said, "We've been married for a little while now, maybe we should go visit your parents tomorrow?" I thought for a moment, then nodded. "Sure." She smiled and added, "My parents are kinda clingy. Honestly, I didn't expect them to show up today. I hope it wasn't too much." "It's fine," I said. "They're family now." Midway through the meal, Lila set down her fork and looked at me a little too calmly. "By the way," she said. "That thing Susie mentioned earlier, have you given it any thought?" "What thing?" I asked, genuinely confused. "Having kids." I nearly choked on my steak. That's kind of up to you, right?" I mumbled, trying to play it off while chewing. "Up to me?" she echoed, eyebrows raised. Then she leaned in closer, her tone softening. "Well, I do like kids." She inched even closer. The space between us disappeared, and the air grew noticeably warmer. Lila leaned forward, her arms on the table, neckline dipping just enough to catch my breath. Her eyes locked with mine. We were nose to nose, lips barely a whisper apart. Then she smirked and pulled away, just enough to reach for my collar. "You got a crumb on your shirt," she said, plucking it off. Meanwhile, at her office, Vanessa was sitting behind her desk, flipping through documents when her phone rang. She picked up with a sigh, clearly not in the mood. On the other end, a voice spoke gently, but urgently. "Vanessa, maybe you should just apologize to Ethan. This breakup feels different. I saw him at the grocery store the other day, with some woman. They looked pretty domestic, if you ask me. If you keep waiting, someone else might actually take him for good." Vanessa let out a short, dismissive laugh. "Ethan? Getting taken? Please." She twirled a pen between her fingers, cool as ice. "He's obsessed with me. He's always been. He can't forget me. We've broken up, what, a dozen times. And who always comes crawling back? Him. Trust me, give it a few days. He'll come running back, begging like he always does." The voice on the other end was sharp now. "I can't believe you're still saying that." "He needs me," Vanessa added confidently. "He just hasn't realized it yet." "Jesus, Vanessa, he's your man. If you actually love him, stop acting like this and go fight for him. What are you gonna do, sit back and wait until he's married and sleeping with someone else before you finally react?" "That won't happen," she snapped. "He'd never marry that woman. He told me that whole marriage thing was just to make me jealous. It's fake. And he wouldn't sleep with her either, he only wants me." A heavy silence hung on the line before her friend spoke again, this time flat and exhausted. "You're delusional. I heard he's taking her to meet his parents tomorrow. Do what you want. As a friend, I've done what I can. Don't say I didn't warn you." Click. Vanessa stared at her phone, her jaw clenched, the first flicker of doubt beginning to crack through the armor of her arrogance. After hanging up, Vanessa stared down at the pile of paperwork waiting for her approval. A dull ache throbbed behind her eyes. She should have felt confident, certain that Ethan belonged to her, that no one else could take her place. But every time she thought about the way he looked at that woman the other day, their closeness, their comfort, it made her chest burn with something between anger and panic. She turned toward the window, zoning out as the city sprawled quietly beneath her. It's fine, she told herself. He won't fall for someone else. He can't. Not really. And even if he was mad now, she could fix it. She'd be the bigger person. She wouldn't demand an apology. She wouldn't even stay mad. She'd go to him, talk it out, be sweet. He'd come around. He always did. Yes. Tomorrow, she'd go to Ethan's parents' place. She'd make him see reason. The next day, Lila and I packed a few things and headed to my parents' house. As soon as we pulled up, she jumped out and started unloading the gift boxes from the back seat. When she spotted my parents on the porch, Jake and Jean, she called out with a sweet, practiced warmth, "Mom." "Dad." They froze mid-step, blinking in unison. "Ethan's wife?" Jake asked, confused. Lila gave a bright little nod. Jean walked over and smacked the back of my head, laughing. "You little punk. I told you Vanessa wasn't it. Good to see you finally come to your senses." "Hey, chill," I muttered, coughing awkwardly. "Don't bring up Vanessa in front of Lila, all right?" Jean blinked, then caught on, her tone softened immediately. She turned to Lila with a warm smile. "Come in, honey. Come on in." Jean had barely let Lila sit down before she launched into a barrage of questions. "So how did you two meet? Are you living together now? When's the wedding?" She barely paused for breath. Even Jake, who normally missed every social cue, gave her a side glance and tugged her gently aside. "Babe, come on. They just got here. You're hitting her with 20 questions and now jumping to wedding plans? Let the girl breathe." But Lila just smiled and walked over to help Jake settle into the couch. "Dad," she said sweetly, "Ethan and I are already married." You could have heard a pin drop. Jean blinked, then looked at Jake. "Did she just say, married?" Jake squinted. "Think so." They both froze for a second, processing the news, then sprang up, suddenly overwhelmed with joy and 1,000 more questions. They grabbed our hands and started firing off everything from, "When did this happen?" to, "What kind of ceremony are you thinking?" like they were planning it tomorrow. That's when a knock came at the door. Jake stood up to answer it. And there she was. Vanessa. Dressed to the nines in her usual overdone style, designer labels, heels too high for daylight, and perfume so strong it practically walked in ahead of her. She flashed a smile at my parents like she hadn't been uninvited for over a year. "Mom, Dad," she said cheerfully. "I came to see you." My parents never liked Vanessa. Back when we were dating, a year and a half, I'd finally reached the point where I thought it was time to bring her home. Part of me hoped that seeing my family might push her to draw some boundaries, let go of those two guy friends she was always too close with, and start thinking seriously about us. But even then, something never quite felt right. And now? Now she was standing on my parents' doorstep, again, like none of that ever happened. Vanessa's visit to my parents' house was a disaster. She acted irritated the entire time, barely hiding her boredom. Right before she left, Jean tried to be thoughtful and handed her a tin of homemade chocolate chip cookies, a family recipe passed down from my grandmother. Vanessa took one look at it, then tossed the entire tin into the trash. "This stuff is disgusting. Totally unsanitary. Don't ever eat this crap again," she said, wiping her hands like she'd touched something toxic. Jean didn't say a word. Just forced a smile and pulled out some cash instead, trying to salvage the moment. Vanessa resisted at first, oh no, I couldn't possibly, but when my parents insisted, trying to compliment her manners, she looked down at the money and scoffed. "This is wrinkled as hell," she said. "Feels like it came out of a petri dish. You should really just Venmo people." Later, I pulled her aside, hoping, maybe, for a conversation. A real one. But she just leaned back on the couch and crossed her arms like none of it mattered. "Let me be clear," she said, eyes hard. "I hate living with old people. If you really care about me, if you seriously want to marry me, then you need to stop seeing your parents altogether." I stared at her, stunned. This was the woman I'd been in love with? "Okay," I said quietly. "So what about your parents? You gonna cut them off too?" She shrugged. "My parents aren't like yours." I took a step back, something inside me snapping. "So it's just mine you have a problem with?" "Don't twist my words," she said, rolling her eyes. "I'm just being honest." "What, you expect me to take care of them when they get old? Change diapers and spoon-feed them? No thanks. Old people are clingy and annoying. I can't stand that energy in my space." There had been times before when I'd compromised, bent over backwards, even, to make this relationship work. But this? This crossed a line I could never unsee. Her contempt for my parents. Her entitlement. The things she'd done just days ago with her ex and her first love. All of it hit me at once. The weight was too much to carry anymore. I looked at her, calm and cold. Her mouth was still moving, still complaining, still justifying. I cut through it all with a single sentence. "Save it," I said. "We're done." Vanessa's pupils flickered, just for a second. She stared at me, stiff and silent, before finally speaking, her voice low and cold. "Do you even realize what you're saying right now?" she said. "Because I'm not in the mood for jokes." "I'm not joking," I replied, calm but resolute. "I've never been more clear. We're not compatible, Vanessa. Not in how we handle love, and definitely not when it comes to family. We can't agree on the things that matter. So let's end it here." Her expression tightened. "You chased me, remember?" "I know," I said quietly. "I liked you. Really liked you. But after all this time, I've come to see, you've never really loved me back. At least, not in a way I could feel. And I don't want to keep hurting each other just to prove something. This isn't love, it's a slow burn." Vanessa's voice shot up, defensive, wounded. "I never loved you back. Are you serious right now? I got you birthday presents, didn't I? I showed up for our anniversary dates, didn't I? What more do you want from me?" I let out a quiet breath. The birthday gifts were bulk bought years ago. Same thing every year. And those anniversary dates? You only came because your ex and your first love were both busy. I said it without venom. Just truth. And in saying it out loud, I suddenly saw myself, how hard I'd tried, how much I'd excused. How foolish I'd been. "I can't do this anymore," I continued. "I can't share your attention with other men and pretend I'm fine. Maybe that makes me narrow-minded, but if it does, then so be it. At least I know what I need. And it's not this." Vanessa cut me off, her tone sharp, dismissive. "You're just ranting now. Spare me the dramatics." She crossed her arms, trying to regain control. "You're clearly angry, and being angry doesn't make you right. You're not thinking straight. When you calm down, you'll realize that. And when you do, call me and apologize." Then she turned and walked off like the conversation hadn't happened at all. Like my words meant nothing. But they did. Even if she refused to hear them. Looking back now, I honestly feel like slapping myself. 3 years. I put up with all of that for 3 damn years. God, what an idiot I was. As soon as Vanessa stepped into view again, my mom's face dropped. "What are you doing here?" she asked, flat and unimpressed. "I'm here to bring Ethan home," Vanessa replied with a smile that couldn't be more fake if she tried. Lila didn't flinch. She stepped forward, calm as ever, and gently took Vanessa's hand. "If you came to drop off a wedding gift, you didn't need to be so dramatic about it," she said sweetly. "Ethan's been busy, no need to invite us over." "But the gift? That's still welcome." Vanessa yanked her hand back like she'd been burned. "What the hell is wrong with you? Wedding gift? If anyone's marrying Ethan, it's me. Who the hell do you think you are?" Lila gave a theatrical sigh and collapsed into my arms, looking adorably wounded. "Your shamelessness truly is next level," she said, voice trembling with mock hurt. "I'm almost impressed. But this isn't a psych ward, so maybe dial it back a bit?" "You bitch!" Vanessa screamed, raising her hand to slap her. I grabbed her wrist midair before it landed. "Enough!" I shouted. "Get out. You're not welcome here." Vanessa's voice cracked. "Ethan, I'm your girlfriend." "Ex-girlfriend, wasn't it?" Lila chimed in, leaning closer with a blink of her long lashes. Vanessa froze. For a long second, she said nothing. Then, quieter, she offered, "Fine. I don't need your apology anymore. I'll keep my distance from other guys. Let's just stop fighting, okay? I'm exhausted." I let out a cold laugh. "You think this is about an apology?" Her face twitched. "You really are something else," I said. "You think the only reason I broke up with you is because you didn't say sorry? Do you ever hear yourself? So now I'm the problem," she snapped. "You just don't want this relationship anymore, is that it?" "That's exactly it," I said. "I broke up with you. This thing between us? It was twisted. And guess what, if I don't want it, I don't want it. It's not that deep." Vanessa looked like she might actually pass out from rage. She jabbed her finger toward me, voice rising into a shriek. "You're going to regret this." I watched her storm out, heels pounding the floor. As her back disappeared down the walkway, I raised my voice. "Regret? Not a chance. I feel like I just dropped 100 pounds of dead weight." And with that, I slammed the door shut. Hard. That night, after we got home, Lila came over and began massaging my shoulders. I smiled and reached up to gently pull her down beside me. "Let's go take our wedding photos in a few days," I said. She leaned against my shoulder, letting out a soft of agreement. I wrapped my arm around her and pulled her close, breathing in her scent like it was the only air I ever wanted. And in that quiet moment, something struck me. Maybe that drunken night hadn't been such a mistake after all. I turned to her, half laughing. "Hey, if we hadn't gotten drunk at that reunion, do you think we still would have ended up together?" "Of course we would have," she said without hesitation, firm and sure. I smiled as I brushed her hair back, fingers tracing the edge of her cheek. But deep down, I knew the odds hadn't exactly been in our favor. Back in college, I'd liked her from afar. Admired her. But our worlds hadn't really overlapped. If it weren't for the alcohol, for the chaos, for that one unexpected twist in the night, we probably wouldn't be here now. Even at the reunion, I hadn't spoken to her until a mutual friend introduced us. Funny how life works. I looked into her eyes, the weight of all that time, those missed chances, that unexpected second shot, settling in my chest. "Thank you," I whispered. "For showing up in my life." She smiled and pinched my cheek playfully. "Then I should thank you too." "For what?" "For giving me the chance to become Mrs. Callahan." I shook my head gently. Not just now. Always. Even before this. Her expression softened. Me too, she said. Quiet. Sincere. Real. I chuckled softly, assuming she was just teasing me. So I decided to tell her the truth. You might have only started noticing me recently, but I've had my eye on you for a long time. Not true, she said. What? I blinked, not quite understanding. I mean, she added with a pout, I've known you for a long time too. This wasn't some new acquaintance. We didn't just meet. Her words stunned me. Lila, the girl everyone gravitated toward, the one who lit up every room, noticed me? Back then? I'd never even considered the possibility. When? I asked. She gave me a mysterious smile. That's a secret. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, deep and bright, and before I could stop myself, I leaned in and kissed her. She froze for a second, surprised, but then wrapped her arms around my neck and kissed me back. Her breath brushed against my skin as she pulled away just slightly, whispering with a playful grin, this time, we're both sober. She kissed my throat, just below my jawline. I tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, my voice low. Yeah. Fully sober. Still smiling, Lila reached up and gently loosened my tie. Then maybe, it's time we talked about having a baby. The moonlight slipped through the window, casting silver over her skin, her smile, her eyes. The night stretched on, sweet and slow. And for once, everything felt exactly right. We picked a bright, sunny day to take our wedding photos. As soon as we walked up to the studio, the staff member at the front desk gasped like she'd just witnessed the end of a long-running drama. You two finally made it, she exclaimed. Wait, you know us? I asked, puzzled. Before she could answer, Lila raised a finger to her lips and gave her a playful shh. The woman caught the hint instantly and offered no explanation. Instead, she shifted into full professional mode. We're currently running a promotion, she said with a smile. You two are a stunning couple. If you're willing to let us use some of your photos for display and advertising, we can offer a significant discount. I wasn't exactly thrilled about the idea of my face being plastered on a store wall, but Lila looked genuinely excited. If they put our photo up, she said, eyes shining, everyone who walks by will know we're married. And happy. On the way home, I kept thinking about what the staff member had said, and the way Lila had responded with that knowing smile. It made me wonder. Last night, when she hinted that she'd known me long before I ever noticed her, was there more to that story? Hey, I said, glancing over at her. Have we been to that bridal studio before? What makes you ask? She replied innocently. That woman today. She clearly knew us. When she said we were finally together, it sounded like she meant it. Lila turned to me with that same playful glint in her eye. So, you remembered something? I shook my head. Sorry. I honestly don't. She covered her mouth, giggling, then darted a few steps ahead of me. Turning back, she said, then maybe you should think a little harder. I jogged to catch up. Come on, so mysterious. She said with a grin, backing away step by step. Still not gonna tell me, huh? Wife? I swept her up into my arms without warning. She squealed, smacking my back lightly with both hands. We're in public. Put me down. But she was laughing the whole time. And in that moment, under the warm sun and her laughter in my ear, I realized. Some mysteries were worth keeping. As long as she was the one holding them. The night was pitch black, the kind that felt too still, too heavy. Vanessa sat alone at the bar, drinking herself numb. Her friend, watching from nearby, couldn't take it anymore. She reached over and pulled the glass from Vanessa's hand. How long are you going to stay like this? Vanessa looked up at her, eyes distant and hollow. What do you mean? I'm fine. Just having a drink. Can't I have a drink? That's not a fine kind of drink and you know it. Vanessa didn't respond. She just stared at the glass now empty in front of her, then reached for the bottle and took a long pull straight from it. The sharp taste burned down her throat, but she barely flinched. She kept staring at something across the room. Or maybe nothing at all. Finally, she whispered, "Ethan doesn't want me anymore." Her friend blinked. "What are you talking about? I told you to go talk to him. Didn't you?" "I did." Her voice was flat. "And we fought. Again. He told me to get out." "What?" Her friend sat back, stunned. "That doesn't make sense. He's always been into you. Did you say something too harsh again?" Vanessa didn't answer. She just took another slow drink, let the silence stretch, and stared into the dark. Whatever she'd said, whatever she'd done, she wasn't ready to speak it out loud. Maybe because, deep down, she finally knew. This time, it really was over. Suddenly, Vanessa's friend's phone lit up with a new message. She glanced at the screen, and her eyes widened. "Oh my God. My PI just messaged me. You won't believe this, Ethan's taking wedding photos with another woman." Vanessa's fingers tightened around her glass. Her voice was low, tense. "Do you think, what Ethan said before was actually true? Did he really marry her?" Her friend hesitated. "I mean, maybe? It kind of sounds like he did." "No. No, that's not why he broke up with me," Vanessa said quickly, shaking her head. "It wasn't about her. It was about everything else, his parents, my parents, all the pressure from our friends. That's why. Not because he loves someone else." "Yeah, well, life's unpredictable," her friend said carefully. "People change." Vanessa's eyes snapped up. "Whose side are you even on?" That shut her friend up. Vanessa downed another drink. Then another. "They're lying," she muttered. "It's fake. It's all fake. He chased me for 3 years. You don't just throw that away. It must be a mistake. He probably posed with the wrong person, or someone photoshopped it. Yeah. That's it. It's a mix-up." Her friend exhaled, her voice weary. "Vanessa, please stop. This isn't healthy. If he's married, it's time to move on. You're not getting him back. What do you expect him to do, get divorced for you?" Vanessa blinked. And then, she smiled. But it wasn't joy. It was something darker. "Divorce?" she echoed. "Yeah. Why not? People get divorced all the time." "Jesus, are you serious right now?" "You don't understand," Vanessa said, eyes suddenly glassy. "I love him. I need him. I can't breathe without him." Her friend sat back, defeated. "You really brought this on yourself. You had him. And you ruined it. And now you want to tear his life apart just to feel better." Vanessa didn't answer. She just reached for the bottle again, hand trembling, eyes wild, lips whispering something only she could hear. It was barely morning. I had just stepped outside when I saw her. Vanessa. Standing in front of our house like a ghost from a nightmare. Her hair was a tangled mess, dark circles under her eyes like bruises. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "What do you want?" I asked, voice cold. "I want to be with you," she said quietly. "That's not happening," a voice cut in. Lila stepped between us, calm but firm. "He's already married. To me." Vanessa's eyes flashed. "You?" she sneered. "You think you're good enough?" Without warning, she shoved Lila hard, sending her crashing to the ground. I rushed to help Lila up, shielding her behind me. "Vanessa," I snapped, "if you've got something to say, say it to me. Don't go lashing out like a rabid dog." "You can't treat me like this," she shouted, grabbing at my arm. "I'm here because I want to fix things. Doesn't that mean anything to you? You know you still love me. Just admit it. Divorce her, we can get married instead, like we were supposed to. Please." "You're delusional," I said, shaking her off. "Where was all this devotion when you were running around with your ex and your first love? I gave you chances. For 3 years I waited for you to come back, and you never did. What was I supposed to do, stand there forever like some loser who enjoys being cheated on? No, you've got it wrong. I never did anything with them. I only ever loved you. Haven't you felt that? All these years?" I stared at her. "You're like someone who got their heart ripped out and still insists they feel a pulse." My voice was low, but I meant every word. "Don't try to gaslight me. You say you only loved me? That's rich. That's comedy so dark even God would have to go digging in hell to find the punchline." Vanessa just stood there, frozen, hollow-eyed, like she'd been slapped. Silent. Finally, her world had run out of excuses. Maybe she couldn't believe it. That I, of all people, the guy she always thought would tolerate anything, was now the one hurling harsh words at her. But that's just who I am. I pull back my claws for the people I love. And for those who've earned my anger, I don't hold back. I probably should have held back, considering the 3 years of history between us. But Vanessa didn't come here for closure, she came to be punished. And honestly, I would have felt like I was disrespecting my own mouth if I let her walk away without saying what needed to be said. "You've changed," she said finally, voice small. "You never used to be like this." "I've always been like this," I said coolly. "I just don't show my teeth to people I care about. But if I can't stand you, don't expect me to smile." Vanessa stood frozen, torn between fleeing and saving face. She didn't move. That's when Lila spoke up, calm and cheerful. "Need me to walk you out?" Vanessa shot her a death glare. But in the end, she turned and walked away, head down, shoulders tight. Still, she couldn't resist one last jab at dignity. "Don't get cocky," she barked over her shoulder. "This isn't you dumping me, it's me dumping you." After the door slammed shut behind her, Lila turned to me, grinning, and gave me a thumbs up. "Still got it," she said. "No worse than before, and now? Even better things ahead." "No worse than before?" I raised a brow, not quite getting it. She pressed a finger to her lips. "Let me guess," I said, smiling as I pulled her into my arms. "Another secret?" She said, nodding into my chest. "Secret." After that day, Vanessa never came back. And honestly, that silence never felt so good. Lila and I had only grown closer with time. With both our families on board, a wedding was finally set. On the big day, just moments before the ceremony, I stood backstage adjusting my cufflinks when Ryan walked over, wearing a rare serious expression. "Well, almost." "Hey, congrats on the wedding," he said, holding out a small pink notebook. "This is my gift." "Oh, and hurry up and have a kid, would you? My parents won't stop talking about grandkids. It's driving me nuts." I laughed, shaking my head. "Noted." He gave me a wink and disappeared into the hallway. I turned the notebook over in my hands. It was well-worn, soft at the edges. The cover was pink, the kind you'd expect from a teenager. Curious, I opened it. It was Lila's handwriting. A diary. October 16, 2017, Monday, cloudy. Our school hosted a debate competition today. One of the opposing debaters absolutely stunned me. He's incredible, easily the best I've ever seen. October 20th, 2017, Friday, sunny. Finally asked around about that amazing debater. His name is Ethan. November 8th, 2017, Wednesday, overcast. Felt really down today. But then, surprise. I found out he doesn't have a girlfriend. That cheered me up a little. April 11th, 2018, Wednesday, cloudy. Went to an elective lecture today and, guess what, he was there too. Lucky me. May 25th, 2018, Friday, sunny. Had an allergic reaction. My face broke out badly. On my way to the clinic, I ran into him. Thankfully I had on a mask and a hat. He didn't recognize me. May 26, 2018, Saturday, sunny. Ran into him again, in the same spot. I was standing outside a bridal boutique and didn't move. He thought I needed help and came over to ask. The truth? I'd only stopped because I saw him. He told me not to be shy about trying on a wedding dress, even if I wasn't getting married. Said he couldn't see my face, but imagined I'd look beautiful in one. May 27, 2018, Sunday, cloudy. Passed the bridal shop again. Remembered what he said. So I went in. The staff were kind. Before I left, one of them whispered, "Hope you'll come back with your partner someday." I showed her a picture of him. Said, "I will." July 16, 2019, Tuesday, sunny. Got randomly yelled at by someone today. He was there. He saw it. He stood up for me and clapped back like a pro. Guess that's what makes him the top debater. December 25, 2019, Wednesday, snowing. Christmas. I wanted to ask him out. But someone else beat me to it. I don't know if he said yes. So many moments I had missed. She had been watching me all along, quietly, gently, waiting. Even back then. I wasn't invisible to her. And now? Now, she was my wife. There were still several pages left in Lila's diary. I read every one of them. Each entry, each date, each little secret. All of it. By the time I closed the last page, the music had already started. The ceremony was beginning. I stepped onto the stage, nerves humming, but as soon as I looked up, everything else disappeared. There she was. Lila. Walking toward me, step by step, her white dress glowing under the soft sunlight pouring through the glass dome above us. The light diffused around her like a dream, warm, golden, real. She looked straight into my eyes. I smiled. "I know now," I said quietly. Her eyes twinkled. "Know what?" "Your secret," I whispered. Lila laughed softly. "Guess I've been found out." It was then I realized. This wasn't an accident. Not a twist of fate, not a lucky mistake. We were always meant to be. The wind picked up gently, brushing a lock of hair across Lila's cheek, like a kiss from something unseen. We stood together beneath the spring sky. We made our vows in the breeze. We kissed like time had waited for it. And as the world kept turning, we began again, hand in hand, heart to heart. A lifetime stretched out in front of us. And this time, we'd walk it together.